Buenos días, mi nombre es Julio Díez, miembro de la Junta Directiva de la Academia de Cine en la especialidad de animación. Bienvenidos un año más al Día Mundial de la Animación, con un programa organizado por la Comunidad de Madrid lleno de magníficos contenidos que seguro os van a gustar. Ahora voy a dar paso a Manuel Cristóbal, productor de animación y director artístico del programa. Gracias.
Muy buenos días, bienvenidos a los actos del Día de la Animación de la Comunidad de Madrid, que tienen lugar en la Academia de Cine en Madrid y también que estamos retransmitiendo en streaming y cuyas charlas luego podréis tener acceso de nuevo a ellas en el canal de YouTube de la Consejería de Cultura. Me gustaría empezar el evento recordando a Claudio Bierboyd, el gran pionero de la animación española que falleció.
Spanish animation that died recently. And it was a pleasure to have him around. He's available. Information on him is available on the website of the Culture Department of the region of Madrid. And he did series such as Willy Fogg, D'Artagnan, and David the Gnome, and made it possible to produce them at a time when there was not even a fax. And it's been a great role model for all of us. And we have a short video with an extract of an interview that he made. I'm really sorry, but we do not get the sound of the interview, so we won't be able to interpret.
Promociones se llegue a hacer. Entonces entré con...
We got the soundbite. So we spoke to Disney, to Pink Panther, to all those US companies that had literary agents. The Disney didn't have, there was no merchandising back then. And I thought that maybe there was a niche in the market. And I decided to be representative of those TV series. I don't know if you remember, you are really young probably, but we used to have one TV channel, the TV channel, okay? And sometimes the number 2, UHF. But the one at 3:30 on Saturdays, some of the colleagues that spoke before, and I would like to thank for their collaboration, they had, imagine, the viewing where there were 38 million inhabitants at the time in Spain. I guess 27, 28 million people were watching whatever was showing on a Saturday afternoon. So Marco, Pippi Lamström, Vicky the Viking, Orson Welles, Sandokan, Sawyer, etc., all those TV series. And I earned a commission for the sale of the merchandising and for the sale of those series, and also for the production of the merchandise. And then I thought, why don't I produce series myself? Because I mean, I bring them from abroad, but I can actually produce them. So just as if I was Christopher Columbus or Mr. Elcano, I went from here on a plane to Tokyo. You were like Bill Murray in Lost in Translation. Yes, 28 hours. I mean, we could watch some more, but you would have to watch the whole interview. It's really good. As you can see, that was Claudio, a great pioneer. A big warmest regards to his family, to his son as well. I would also like to thank the collaborators, Netflix, Bigman TV, and see if you haven't been able to go to that great animations festival, well, we'll bring it also to Madrid with the best works, PC Cluster, Nightclub, Apple TV and Skydance, as well as many others. Thank you very much for having allowed us, haven't made it possible to be here, and thanks to the regional government of Madrid. Thank you very much. So this is done for you to enjoy this. Inspiring talks that hopefully will lead to more work of animation. And now I give the floor to Mr. Nacho. So we have Nacho Carballo with us. It's great to always see a cinema theatre full of people, but it's also great to see young people with so much talent and such a great future ahead of them. So congratulations for having chosen to be here, for having chosen such a beautiful profession, and we can't wait to see your work straight away. But now it's time to do the day of animation, and it's time to learn and listen to the professionals. Thank you, Manuel, for organizing and coordinating these 2 days of animation. Thank you, Elena, Antonio, and all the team there. Thank you, Elvira, also for the streaming work. And I would like to say that thanks to Ignacio Cabrera, I'll ask him to also say a few words to us, because without him this wouldn't have been possible either. Animation in Spain is currently in a very productive period. And despite being only 4% of all the audiovisual companies in Spain, it generates 20% of total employment. So 8,000 jobs. The talent of animation and the region of Madrid are very much linked, intertwined. And we can find Alberto Miego. I'm sure that you've all seen Limpia Parabrisas, Windshield Wiper, his short film, and then Muerte y Roberts Gibaro, that managed to get 2 Emmys. You've also find here the studio and director Sergio Pablos nominated for Clouds, and actually currently doing his own film, Denver in Madrid, and series such as Pocoyo, Tadeo Jones, and The Labyrinth of Turtles. All of them were created and produced in Madrid. Suerte, Luck, my Skydance for Apple TV, was mostly made in Madrid with many sketches from very well-known TV series. So we are at the center of audiovisual production in Europe. And that's something that we have to make the most of, and you have to make the most of. Animation and UFX are also part of a group of assets available in the region of Madrid, such as the hub of audiovisual production, where there is a lot of interesting ideas that you should visit. The regional government of Madrid wants to promote the audiovisual industry in the region, and we offer also subsidies for the development of animation projects. I'm sure you'll want that, because sometimes what you want is money, obviously, to be able to promote your work. So 40,000 euros for series, 50,000 for long films, and for short films and animation, there's also funds. We also have the Day of Animation, these 2 days that we are hosting here. And we also organize follow-up projects and talent projects when a production is pre-selected or pre-nominated for the Oscars or for the Goya. The Madrid Fit office, and I also encourage you to go and visit it, also offers multiple support to the animation industry and supports the film, the cinema festival and the film festival here in Madrid. The companies here in Madrid not only offer international investors and producers a great training. We have great professionals, and you will sure become, those of you who are not yet, you will become great professionals. And I'm sure you will promote, and you will give, we could say, shine to all those filmers that you're going to do. So together, all of you, the talent and the great training centers, mean that Madrid has become one of the most important epicenters for animation. The institutional support to the visual and video games industry is seen in the city of Madrid. Just a few hours ago, we finished Car Springboard. That was hosted over the last 3 days, or this Day of Animation, for instance. Thank you for having chosen this beautiful profession. I said that at the beginning. Open your eyes, learn a lot, try to do the most of the experts that we brought here, try to take as much information as possible from them, and long life to the Day of Animation and animation in general. And I leave you with the regional, to the person in charge of the regional department of the film industry, Madrid. Well, thank you very much, Nacho. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Manu, for the wonderful program that you have developed. You're a great animation expert. So I'm sure that what we have here today, the agenda will be perfect. For many years, I think about 15 years ago, I was able to have a documentary, Españoles Animados, it was called, that helped me travel to the US for a while and to visit studios such as Disney and Pixar, and to interact with many people working in the animation industry, Spanish people that were working there at the time. I was also able to work with many different players in the industry. When I talk to the Spanish people on animation working there, we have something called España Animado project there. They also always said that there were no opportunities in Spain. They were forced to move out of Spain because there were no projects in Spain that they could develop. That was over 15 years ago. When I spoke to the players on the industry, they said that they were aware that there was a lot of Spanish talent and that they believed that the Spanish artists, they spoke about them as artists, were very versatile. They had a great ability to adapt. And in that sense, in the region of Madrid, what we cannot afford is for more brain drain. We need to make sure that talent stays. Because in the region of Madrid, we must be able to develop these artists. And I think that this is something we're achieving now. Today, there are increasingly more companies that are fully committed to the audiovisual and production industries that come to and establish themselves here in Madrid. And there are many professionals that stay here in Madrid. And it's great for all those people who are starting now to meet them so that you can see how they work. And it's great because increasingly more we can see that we'll be able, hopefully, to consolidate an animation industry that, as Nacho said today, gives job to 8,000 people, which is not bad. So here we are at the Cinema Academy. Thank you very much for hosting this meeting. It's a great venue to be at always. I would also like to thank all the collaborators. And it was yesterday where they published the people that have been nominated to the Goya candidacies. And we have 3 short films supported by the region of Madrid. Humboldt, Manos by Mustazar, Amarradas by Miss Córdoba, and En la Primavera Siempre Vuelve by Núñez. I would like to congratulate the 3 of them, and I hope that they get to the final, that they are really shortlisted. Only one of them will win, obviously, but I would give the award to the 3 of them, but it's not possible. I hope one of them gets the Goya Award. I worked with Alberto last year, and it was fantastic. We helped him produce his short film. And the truth is that it was a milestone for Madrid and for the whole region. It's great to have a talent such as him here and with a winner of one of the Oscars. And it's great that it came from Madrid and was supported by the regional government of Madrid. And I'm convinced that this year some of these short films will also make it to the final. And I hope they get the award, and we'll try to make the most to we would like to work and collaborate with the regional government of Madrid and the Department of Culture and Sport. As Nacho said, we'll also be here trying to help you in your projects, to promote them, and hopefully to hold your hand till the end. And hopefully one day one of you will also be like Alberto Mielgo, and we'll be able to bring an Oscar also to the region of Madrid. We're always in search for talent. And let's hope that these 2 days help you grow professionally. Thank you very much.
Muy bien, pues empezamos con...
Okay, so we're going to start with the talks now. One of the professional challenges that unfortunately I wasn't able to achieve was to co-produce with Latin America. That's why I was surprised, and I realized that a film such as Ainbo could gain its space in this international community. Many of them were not able to get that recognition, the international recognition that they deserved. And that's why I've asked César Zelada to come to share that with us. So thank you, César, because you've come from Peru and Panama. Thank you for being here to share your wisdom with us. Thank you.
Bueno, acá tengo este micrófono. Buenos días, hola a todos.
Good morning, everyone. Hello. I'm super happy to be here. Thank you to the regional government of Madrid. Thank you, Manuel, for inviting me. I'm going to come downstairs so that I can see exactly what I project. I don't know if you can turn the lights down a little bit so we can see better. Doing animation in itself is titanic work. It's very big and satisfactory. And in Latin America, it's a bit more difficult. It's a bit more difficult. Why? Because there's not a lot of help in trying to find co-productions. In fact, 2 girls, the one in the left is Ainbo. We were able to get the award for the best Latin American animation film. And then we have Kayara. Kayara is a film in which I'm working currently. We are in the production. Both films are inspired in our culture. Ainbo, more within the Amazon ecosystem with the Chipio-Cunibo tribes, and Kayara is in the Inca Empire. It's based on the Inca Empire. So there's a lot of richness in Latin America and Peru. And that's what we wanted to show to the world. And with Ainbo, it worked really well because we were able to make sure that we did it with CMG, which is a US producer that has produced many titles and has a lot of experience. And we were able to sell Ainbo across the globe. Now is one of the Latin American films that has sold the best. We finished the film in February 2020 and everything went well until COVID came. And then we had to put it on hold for a bit. And in the end, I mean, it was premiered, but it was a difficult premiere because many times it had to be done remotely. But given in terms that, I mean, considering COVID, I don't think it went that bad in economic figures. It was the first animation film. Tunche Films, we have been in the industry for 20 years, doing mainly live action and many of the visual effects and animation, but for advertising. We have done a lot of advertising across America, the American continent, the US, north, south of America. And we wanted, I mean, we had done very short films and advertising, and we wanted to start making content. We had some scripts. Tushi is a family company. It's my two older brothers and myself. And for a while, we had been writing stories. We were born in the Peruvian Amazon. In fact, my grandparents were Spanish, but we were born in the Amazon forest because after the war, the civil war, many went to Peru because they received land there. So we grew up in this ambience of listening to lots of stories, and that's what we wanted to portray. I think I can show the slides from here. Yes. So it's basically the concept is the love for the Amazon. It's a girl who discovers she goes beyond her habitat and finds a civilization that threatens the nature that she knows. We had this story and we went to Ventana Azura in Buenos Aires, and I'm going to tell you a little bit the process of this first animation project for a studio that had never done that. I mean, we had done a very short film, like I said, but for us it was something totally new, and I think it went quite well. I don't know whether we were, is first time luck but since we did the teaser, I mean, we had to sell it in different festivals, and we did it all really quickly. It went really quickly. Some projects take sometimes 10 years to come out. This was finished and sold in 2 years. So we were lucky enough to be able to work with CMG, and they did great work in terms of distribution and sales. So we did this teaser. We're going to watch it now. This was the teaser that we made in order to be able to sell the project. We wanted to have a high quality teaser. I think it worked really well. And in Ventana Azul, we had 5 different proposals to fund the company. Shall we play it, please?
Hey, stay right here. Who's there?
Well, this teaser, we did it working for 2 months We have a department in the company that deals with VFX, an animation department made up of 15 people, and they worked on it for 2 months, and then the teaser sold very well. And we did it in English because people asked us to do it in English, and the voice is my daughter's voice when she was 10, actually, my youngest. It was a great success. It was a great success, this teaser. And not only did it help to get the producer, but it also helped us do the pre-sales in different cinema markets. And then after that, well, actually the characters that you see in the teaser changed. Ainbo changed. We had different versions for Ainbo, and the tapir that you see, that animal that you see, also changed. And in the US, the producers asked us to turn it into more of a cartoon. I mean, I actually liked these characters, but they wanted us to turn them into more cartoon-like characters. So sometimes we had to do things against our will, sometimes we were in agreement. So we went through a design phase that went very, very fast, and there was research as well. Although I had grown up in the Amazonian forest, we did go with the producers to the region. And the person in white is Edward Nolan. He is the CMG producer, and we went there and we actually traveled to the Amazonian forest for four different times just to take pictures and really know the area. So it was very important, the research that we did, such as the paintings that the tribe did on their faces and the roots in the trees. These roots that you see here on the tree is a lupuna tree that has roots that grow as tall as walls, and that really helped us design the houses, and we created huge trees. You will see the design work that we did. So that was a pre-production where we start designing all the characters and all the locations, and this is how we explored Ainbo's design. And it was a different design, different to the one that we saw in the teaser. And then we had to develop it on 3D. So this is a 3D model, and it starts posing, and we started developing textures, the skin and the paintings on her face, as we saw on the picture. So lots of research took place. And then the fabrics used by the tribe as well, there's sort of lines. You know, these writings are being used by the tribe, and some additional things that we put on her that are not necessarily used by the tribe, but that add on. This is a 3D model as well. And as a matter of fact, we recycle quite a bit in animation. The new movie that we're doing, Kayara, in order to create the teaser, we used her body in Kayara. Obviously, now that we are producing the movie, we will obviously change it and shape it to what I want it to look like. These are different characters, from the design to the 3D modeling. Obviously, the villain. So there were lots of different design phases that were just different steps and phases to validate it all. This is the tribe chief. And for instance, we have in the movie a giant turtle. There is a giant turtle who is actually the Motelo Mama, an Amazonian legend in the Amazonian River, in the Amazonas River, that was born in Peru and that ends up in Brazil and goes all the way to Venezuela so that it can finish in the ocean. And in the Amazonian River in Peru, there is a sort of island within the river that is called Iquitos, and it is said that there is a building that was created by Eiffel. You know, it's made of iron in that island, and apparently they say that this island is actually the shell of a huge turtle. So that's the legend. And we wanted to reference that legend in Ainbo. And this was the first design that we did of the turtle. And to show the scale, we have Ainbo in front of her. So this turtle is the mother spirit of the Amazonian jungle. And then everything changed, obviously, and they asked us to do a more family-oriented movie, more cartoon-like, and in the end we created the turtle that looked like this. But here I think we have the 3D modeling as well. Yes, here it is. This is the 3D modeling so that you can look at the final version of the turtle and its scale. And here you have an example of the tapir that you saw in the first teaser and what it looked like in the end. I like the one on the left better than the one on the right, but you have to understand that the movie was actually targeting smaller children, so that's what they asked us to do. He needed to look a bit more like Pumbaa, the Lion King. Sometimes you have to sell your soul for a few coins. I mean, not for coins, but to produce your movie. And when your movie costs over 8 million, and if it's going to go against your investment, then you have to change things a bit. Well, with Cayera, I think I have a bit more authority to start demanding things, so I'm not being as much as a pushover as I was with this one. So these are some of the designs. Here you have some designs so that you can look at the trees that we saw with the huge roots that they have. And we created huge trees, 200 tall meters. And on the roots, we built the homes, and we created a magical world thanks to this. Actually, the tapir that we saw, there's an armadillo as well, and a tapir that are guardian spirits that help Ainbo better fight against the civilization that is come to as a predator, we could say. And these are the first designs. And here we should have the final versions, or a bit more finished than the previous ones. We also created, on the basis of those roots, a sort of amphitheater. These are the scales for you to look at the sizes, and all of this has to be created so that our artists can better work. And this is the stage we're in with Cayera right now, the design phase, concepts, props, right? What the life in the city looks like, and some concepts. We wanted for the whole city to be integrated in nature.
¿No? Más orgánica.
More organic. And then we created the different huts that are linked by bridges.
Esta es la habitación de Guarín.
This is Warinka's room. Warinka is the tribe's chief. So we really used all of these fabrics that they manufacture, that they weave, now with colors. And here's some other references. So concept art, the sort of trees and vegetation that we used. And then there is a part in Ainbo. I mean, one day she finds this deforestation, the deforestation that can be found in the Amazonian jungle. And that exists. If you look at the left, you have a reference. Around 4 stadiums a day are being cut in the Amazonian jungle. It's enormous. And that advances and advances because this area, this Amazonian forest, has lots of gold. So in order to be able to dig the mercury and gold and so on, that's a very serious situation. And the governments just look to the side because from an economic standpoint, it's convenient to them. But this is terrible. And that was something that we wanted to also explain in the movie.
Esto es un lugar mágico, que es donde...
This is a magical place where Ainbo finds Motelomama, the giant turtle. That was the design, and this is what it looked like on the movie. This is a frame. This is a frame in the movie. These are designs of the deforestation as well. And then we have this machinery that they use to extract gold, and the Yakuruna, who's the spirit, the villain spirit, gives life to these machines. So we gave them life, and they are like biomechanical beings. These are the first concepts of one of the scenes, and now you're going to see that location on 3D. This tree, which is a very important tree in the movie, and here you have it in its 3D version. And this is the tree where the initial teaser took place. It's in a different color, but it's the same tree. And this, which is very important, it's the color script of the whole movie. We did the color script for the whole movie that really helps establish the narrative, the color narrative, as a reference for the illumination and textures of the movie, for the lighting part of the production as well. And this is really interesting because this color script was created by an artist that we discovered who was only 17 years old. Incredible, isn't it? And he didn't know how to use a computer. So the first paintings that you see, these are the ones, he did them, he painted them, and he was 17, but he started working with us when he was 18. And this is how he painted. This is his style. It's amazing. We founded an animation school, and we gave him a sponsorship so that he could start doing it, and he could start using computers. And this is what she did. I mean, she has an amazing criteria for illumination, for color, and so on. So we guided her, but her work was incredible. And now she's already working for Disney and so on. She's 20 years old, and she's already the boss. And in here we see some works done by her as well. This is the color script. Here we have the concept art, so that you see what they look like, and if it's not exact in the end, it has to be very similar. And well, the movie went well. There were lots of pre-sales, lots of press releases in the US, all over the world, in Screen Daily, Variety, all over the place. And that allowed for a very fast financing and for the movie to be produced quite quickly. So there were 120 artists working for 2.5 years. We had a co-production with the Netherlands, who did a part of visual effects and animation as well, and the rest was all done in Peru. In my study, my firm, which is Tuche Films. And these are some videos. I don't know if we could maybe play some of these videos. It's actually 3 videos that show the making of the movie. If you click on the video, it's actually videos, it's not pictures. So. This is a scene where there is another spirit, mother spirit as well. That's a sloth, a huge sloth. And this video lasts a couple of minutes, but it's really interesting because you have the whole process here, the whole process from the animatics, so the storyboard, until the final product. So if you can click on play, it's actually a very interesting video.
Now I need one amazing shot. Steady. Ah! Ah!
Ah, the mighty huntress.
If we don't hurry, we'll miss the ceremony.
I'm leaving now.
Then get me down. Zumi will be heartbroken if I'm not there.
True, she thinks of you like his sister. But remember, you're not her sister. You're not royalty. You're not some great huntress. You're just a girl hanging upside down in her own trap.
Cut me down.
Cut yourself down. And never say Atok didn't try to help you.
Now I need one amazing
Esta es la etapa de layout.
This is the layout phase where we are doing the block in the camera. So here animations are static.
I'm leaving now.
Then get me down. Zumi will be heartbroken if I'm not there.
True, she thinks of you like his sister. But remember, you're not her sister. You're not royalty. You're not some great huntress. You're just a girl hanging upside down in her own trap.
Cut me down.
Cut yourself down. And never say Atok didn't try to help you.
Now I need one amazing shot.
Y acá ya tienen animación, pero
And here there's animation, but there is no texture, there's nothing here.
Atok!
Ah, the mighty huntress.
If we don't hurry, we'll miss the ceremony.
We? I'm leaving now.
Then get me down. Zumi will be heartbroken if I'm not there.
True, she thinks of you like his sister. But remember, you're not her sister. You're not royalty. You're not some great huntress. You're just a girl hanging upside down in her own trap.
Cut me down.
Cut yourself down. And never say Atok didn't try to help you.
Just a girl. Now I need one amazing shot.
y es el final, ¿no?
Daddy.
That's the final aspect.
Atok!
Ah, the mighty huntress.
If we don't hurry, we'll miss the ceremony.
We? I'm leaving now.
Then get me down. Zumi will be heartbroken if I'm not there.
True, she thinks of you like his sister. But remember, you're not her sister. You're not royalty. You're not some great huntress. You're just a girl hanging upside down in her own trap.
Cut me down.
Cut yourself down. And never say Atok didn't try to help you.
Just a girl.
Y ese es el proceso que se hace.
And this is a process that is followed all through the movie. So we start with black and white animatic that is complete for the whole movie. All of the processes, layouts, etc. are complete until we get to this finished aspect. And this is a video that you should look at. It's the trailer for the final movie with more scenes to it. And this is a trailer that we saw everywhere.
Lies a hidden paradise, home to a young girl.
I'm Ainbo of Kandamo, greatest hunter in the whole Amazon.
And when evil invades the Amazon, it's time to unleash her inner hero.
Believe in yourself.
Save Kandamo.
You are the whole Ainbo.
It's me and the jungle now.
Ainbo, Spirit of the Amazon, coming soon.
Y bueno,
And well, this was just a sample of Ainbo, this movie that has fulfilled its cycle, and now we're working on this production called Callara. Callara is set. Well, we're going to just see a couple of images, and it's set in the Incan Empire. And in this empire, there were very strong characters who are the chaques, which are the messengers. These messengers would go through the whole empire. It covered 4 countries, all of Peru, part of Ecuador, part of Colombia, part of Chile, and then part of Bolivia and Argentina. So in this empire, they had a perfect communication system. They used these chasques, who were very strong men who would run in relays, with carrying the messages. The messages were carried in quipus, which were a system of strings with knots, where they encrypted messages. And in this context, Callara is a 16-year-old girl who has always dreamed of being a chasque. And since she was a woman, she couldn't be a chasque because this was an empire where men had this role and women were supposed to be dedicated to the kids and the fields, which is the reality right now in the Andes in Peru. And Cayera wants to be a chasque, and in the end, she manages to fulfill her objective, and she changes the destiny of the empire, actually. That's Cayera.
Igual que Ainbo.
And just like Ainbo, it has been pre-sold, and we are producing the movie. The budget is a bit smaller, but it had lots of pre-sales, and we're still pre-selling it in different cinema markets the world over. And we sold it very well in Cannes, in Berlin, in the animation film market in Los Angeles, so in lots of markets. And well, this is a teaser. Just like with Ainbo, we did a teaser for pre-sales and it sold quite well. And here's the teaser for you to watch.
¿El sonido no tiene?
The sound? Can we play the sound?
Ah, tenía sonido, qué raro. Tiene su mascota.
And that's her mascot, her pet.
Esas caracolas que usan eran...
Those shells that they use them to communicate with one another, to announce their arrival. They're called productos.
Bueno, 2024 esperamos que...
And we hope to be finished on the 24th. And that's what I wanted to show you, the process of our movie and what is being currently done in Latin America. Cayera is actually a co-production with Spain now. It's a co-production with Spain, and from March onwards, we will start doing the Spanish part, and I will have to stay here for a year to direct the movie. And that's all. Thank you so much.
Ah, bueno.
I don't know if there are any questions.
¿Preguntas?
Do you have any questions? Questions, anyone? Aside how to be part of your team, obviously. I'm sorry, but no microphone is being used to ask the questions. Well, everything that is being done between Peru and Panama, because Tunche is in between Peru and Panama, is pre-production. Everything that has to do with design. So the design phase, really. And we have to model all the characters. And then in Spain, there's the production of locations and textures, shading, everything else. So everything that has to do with animation. I think that 60% of the movie is going to be done here. It's a matter of funds, really, but I'm really happy to do it here because there's lots of industry here and lots of quality here. So I think that it will be actually a very good idea to work producing with Spain. Well, just like with Ainbo, we worked with Maya. In Ainbo, the render was done with Arnold. And for design, well, everything that was thrown at us in animatics, we used to boom. But for design, I mean, there are artists who design by hand, not many, but if they like doing it by hand, they can do it. And then I have other artists who do it in ZBrush. They just do it. They just do the modeling, and we don't limit artists. They have to work freely as they wish to do it, and then we unify it all.
¿Alguna pregunta?
Any other questions? Please use the microphone for the questions, not because we cannot hear you in the room, but rather because they cannot hear you. Those of us who are following on streaming won't be able to listen to the questions. When the whole process of creating the concept and scenario design and characters and so on finishes, what happens with the workers, with the employees that were doing it? Well, actually, right now, in Ainbo, for instance, we didn't have another project to follow up on it. So what the study usually does, or what the studio usually does, is lose all its employees. They go work for someone else. But there is so much work nowadays for animation and design and production. It's not difficult for those artists to find some other production to work in. They actually do it quite quickly. What we suffer, we animation studios suffer, is the difficulty of finding artists. I mean, that's good for them because they find a job very quickly. But for us, it's very difficult because if you lose an artist because there is a gap in between productions, then it's very difficult to find new artists, and that is already happening. That is happening to that is not happening to us right now because we finished Callara, but I got a third production, so my artists are going to go from Callara to the next production, and that would be the ideal thing. I mean, it's not that easy to go from one production to another immediately, but in this case, it's not going to happen. We're not going to lose them. Any other questions? Yes. Eduardo Atsuara. Yes, hi. Well, I just wanted to ask about that artist, that 17-year-old artist who painted with oil. I mean, with oil-based paint. Well, it's Adri Alvarado. Just to look her name up and see what she's doing. Feminine talent, female talent. It's something that we have done in the program to work with Mia in the animation industry. And there are lots of masterclasses online. Hi, first of all, congratulations for those 2 projects that you have led. And I wanted to ask you, with regards to the artists, what is it that you're looking for? Experience, creativity? What are the criteria that you apply when looking for concept artists and those in charge of modeling, everything that has to do with pre-production? Well, it just happened with Callara now. I would have liked to work with the same artists that worked with us in Ainbo because we had a very strong team. But now they're all working in different productions. So we opened an ad in the social networks, and I had to look at 120,000 portfolios, and I only needed 20 artists. So obviously, 1,200 portfolios. Out of those 1,200, most of them didn't have the quality, but there were 200 who did have very good quality, and that was 10 times more than I needed. So it was easy to look for them, but what I was looking for was actually quality in the finishing touches. I wanted them to show me interesting things as well, and the style as well. I mean, it had to be similar to what I was doing because there were lots of huge talents that were in a completely different style, but that were amazing talents, and I sent them to study to studios that were doing things that looked more like that. So to me, that search was amazing because it helped me find lots of talent, and I'd say that most of them are new. I mean, most of them are working in a project for the first time. So out of the 20 that I got, I'd say that 70% are working for the first time. So it has been difficult to lead them, not so much in concept art design and the artistic side, because that's freer at the beginning. But with the storyboard, I have suffered a bit because with these artists who have very good quality, very good level, but I did suffer a bit with the new ones because I had to restructure things and I had to call on people who had experience in storyboards and so on. And I did have a mixed team, but you have to combine both things, really. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. We will now continue with our program. César is going to be here with us. So as you can see, he has lots of things to say. And something that we always insist on is the fact that our speakers are very accessible. And in the animation world, we're all very nice. So we're open to questions. Thank you very much. Yes, absolutely. Thank you.